You are not alone in the dark. Welcome to Whispers After Midnight, where every story breathes and every silence hides a secret. For the best experience, put on your headphones, turn down the lights, and let the whispers begin. The patient in room 9. Hospitals are not silent places. Even at night, when the corridors are dim and the traffic outside dwindles to nothing, the air hums with machinery, ventilators sighing, IV pumps clicking, the steady drone of fluorescent lights. But on Amelia Hart's third night shift at St. Augustine, the silence was oppressive, as though the entire building held its breath. She adjusted her scrubs, clutching the chart she'd been updating, and glanced at the clock above the nurse's station. 2:45 a.m., only a few more hours. Her senior nurse, Gloria, dozed lightly in the break room, leaving Amelia in charge of monitoring the board. The call light panel stretched across the wall, each bulb corresponding to a patient's room. At 2:47 a.m., a bulb flickered to life. Room 9. Amelia frowned. Room 9 was unoccupied, sealed, even. She'd been warned about it during orientation. "Ignore room 9, Gloria had said firmly, her tone leaving no room for questions. "That room has been shut down for years. If the light comes on, it's a fault in the wiring." Still, the bulb glowed red, insistent, and the faint sound of a bell echoed down the hall. Amelia shifted uneasily. She tried to return to her charting, but the bell rang again, clearer this time. It didn't sound mechanical. It sounded desperate. Gloria stirred when Amelia shook her shoulder. "The call light in 9 is on," Amelia whispered. "It's ringing." Gloria's eyes opened slowly, heavy with exhaustion. "Ignore it. It happens sometimes." "But..." "No buts," Gloria snapped, then softened. "Look, Amelia, you're new. Every nurse here has seen that light at least once. We don't touch room 9. Ever. It's not our job to wonder why. Got it?" Amelia nodded reluctantly, but the unease in her stomach only deepened. As Gloria settled back into her chair, the bell rang again, echoing faintly down the corridor like a plea. Ding. At 3:12 a.m., Amelia could take no more. She rose from her station, heart thudding, and walked the long corridor toward room 9. The overhead lights flickered as though reacting to her presence. Dust lined the window sills, though the rest of the hospital gleamed. Room 9's door was different. Where others bore neat plastic numbers, this one had its digits carved directly into the wood. A strip of warning tape crossed the handle, brittle with age. The bell rang again, and this time Amelia heard it clearly. A voice, rasping, layered beneath the chime. "Nurse, please help me." Her breath caught. She pressed her ear to the door. Inside, the faint hiss of oxygen, the beep of a monitor. Someone was in there. "Hello," she whispered. "Don't leave me again." Against all reason, Amelia peeled the brittle tape from the door and twisted the handle. It gave with a groan, the hinges reluctant after years of disuse. she stepped into the room. It smelled of antiseptic and something fouler beneath, decay masked poorly by chemicals. A single bed occupied the center, sheets yellowed with age. Machines surrounded it, glowing faintly. Their monitors displayed vital signs. Her vital signs. Amelia's pulse raced as she saw the numbers. Her heart rate, her oxygen saturation. Her name scrawled across the chart, clipped to the end of the bed. And on the bed itself lay a patient. A woman, pale, skeletal, tubes sprouting from her arms. Amelia stumbled back, her throat closing. The woman looked exactly like her. The patient's eyes opened slowly, clouded gray, but unmistakably her own. She lifted a trembling hand. The skin was mottled, peeling, veins crawling dark beneath. "Nurse," the voice rasped, identical to Amelia's. "They left me here. Don't leave me again." Amelia shook her head violently. No, this isn't real. You're not." The machines beeped steadily. Heart rate 103, respiration 18. All hers. The figure on the bed smiled faintly, lips cracked. "It hurts to be forgotten. Stay with me, please." Amelia turned to flee, but the door slammed shut. The room darkened, shadows thickening in the corners. The machines beeped louder, faster, her panic reflected in the numbers. The figure sat up, bones creaking, and swung its legs over the side of the bed. Tubes tore free, leaking dark fluid onto the floor. "You've worked so hard," it whispered, "but you're tired, so tired. Let me take your place." It stepped toward her, each movement jerky but deliberate. Amelia pressed herself against the wall, tears burning her eyes. "You don't belong out there anymore," the voice said gently. "Your shift is over. Mine begins." The figure reached out and touched her hand. Agony ripped through her chest. Her vision blurred. The last thing she saw was her own rotting face smiling back at her. At 7 a.m., the day staff arrived. The night had been uneventful, Gloria reported. But Amelia was missing. Her things remained at the station. Her car sat in the lot. She had simply vanished. Later that morning, a junior nurse passed the assignment board. Beneath the list of duties, someone had written in neat script, "Room 9, Nurse Amelia Hart." The supervisor frowned. "That's impossible. Room 9 isn't in service." And down the hall, faint but insistent, a bell rang. Ding. If you thought that tale was disturbing, this next personal encounter will leave you wondering what is real and what is not. I remember the ad like it was yesterday. Affordable shared housing close to campus, utilities included. It was perfect. Too perfect, maybe. The apartment was small, a little rundown, but nothing I couldn't live with. I signed the lease that same week, excited to finally have a place of my own, or so I thought. The landlord, Mr. Collins, was an older man, polite but distant. When I asked who my roommate would be, he smiled a little too quickly and said, "Don't worry about that. You'll have plenty of space." I didn't question it at the time. Maybe I should have. The first night was quiet, almost too quiet. The hum of the refrigerator, the occasional groan of the pipes. It felt like the building itself was breathing. I unpacked, settled in, and convinced myself this was the fresh start I needed. But then things started happening. The first clue was small. I woke up one morning and found a toothbrush sitting in the bathroom cup beside mine. I knew I hadn't put it there. I lived alone, or at least I thought I did. I brushed it off, told myself I must have left it during moving, even though I was sure I hadn't. Then food started disappearing. A slice of bread here, half a carton of milk gone there. Little things that made me doubt myself. Was I really that careless? Was I eating more than I remembered? The third incident erased all doubt. I came home late one night after class and found the bathroom mirror fogged, as though someone had just taken a shower. The air was still damp, warm, heavy with steam, but the apartment was silent, empty. My skin crawled as I touched the mirror. Moisture clung to my fingertips. I wasn't alone. Not really. The noises came next. Footsteps in the hallway when I lay in bed. The soft creak of the fridge door, opening in the dead of night. Once I swore I heard coughing, raspy, shallow, like someone struggling to breathe. I sat up in bed, heart racing, every nerve in my body on edge. But when I forced myself to check, nothing. Always nothing. I told myself I was stressed. Hallucinating maybe, but I knew better. There was someone else here. Someone who didn't want me to see them. When I confronted Mr. Collins, his face paled. "You signed the lease," he said quickly, almost rehearsed. "There's no roommate, not on paper." I pressed him. What did he mean? But he shook his head, muttering something about the building being old, drafty, and hurried away before I could ask more. That night, I locked my bedroom door. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, listening. At 2:43 a.m., the knob rattled. Softly at first, then harder. I bit down on my scream, every muscle frozen. The sound stopped, replaced by whispering, low, incoherent, right outside my door. I started noticing patterns. The wet footprints in the bathroom always appeared at the same time. The missing food always vanished between 2 and 3 a.m. And the whispers, God, the whispers, always came from the corner of the apartment I avoided most. The spare bedroom. I had never opened it. When I first moved in, the door was locked, and I figured it was for storage. But one night, after another round of whispers, I couldn't resist. I picked the lock with trembling hands. The smell hit me first. Damp mold, something rotten beneath it all. The room was bare, except for a mattress on the floor, yellowed with age, sunken in the middle. And on the mattress, pressed into the stained fabric, was the shape of a body, as if someone had been lying there recently. I stumbled back, gagging, slamming the door shut. I didn't sleep that night, didn't even blink. My heart felt like it would burst from my chest. Every shadow in the room seemed to stretch, to reach for me. The silence between the walls felt alive, listening. By morning, I had made my decision. I was leaving. Screw the lease, screw the money. No cheap rent was worth this. But when I started packing, I noticed something that stopped me cold. My suitcase was already zipped, packed, not by me, and taped to the handle was a note, written in messy, uneven handwriting. Don't go, we're just getting started. That was the night everything spiraled. The noises were no longer subtle, they were violent. Cabinets slammed open in the kitchen. The bathroom faucet turned on by itself. The spare bedroom door creaked open, no matter how many times I locked it. And always, always the whispers. You can't leave me. You're mine. I broke. I called the police, shaking, desperate. When the officers arrived, I told them everything. They searched the apartment, room by room. When they came out of the spare bedroom, their faces were pale, their voices hushed. This room's been empty for years, one said. But his partner held up something that froze me where I stood. It was a toothbrush, the same one I'd seen appear weeks before. But it wasn't new. It was cracked, yellowed, bristles frayed with age, like it had been used long ago. The officers left, assuring me it was probably a prank, but I could see the fear in their eyes. They didn't believe their own words. That night, I sat in the living room, suitcase by my side, waiting for dawn. Every creak, every breath of the apartment set my nerves aflame. At exactly 3 a.m., the lights flickered. The air grew cold, colder than I'd ever felt. And then I saw it. Not a roommate, not a man, not anything I could describe in human terms. But it was there in the hallway, watching me, smiling with teeth that weren't teeth at all. And it whispered my name like it had always known me. I ran, out the door, down the stairs, into the night. I never went back, didn't even collect the rest of my things. Mr. Collins never returned my calls, and the building was condemned a month later. But sometimes, when I close my eyes at night, I hear it still. The soft rattle of my doorknob, the whisper through the walls, the roommate who wasn't there, the one who never left. And if you ever find yourself moving into a cheap apartment and the landlord tells you not to worry about the other tenant, don't sign, because some roommates can't be seen. And once you share your space with them, you'll never truly live alone again.